Sturton le Steeple has a long history as an important settlement. It's close to the River Trent ford crossing, which was the site of Sedulocum, a Roman settlement, and part of the Roman road between York and Lincoln. The ford crossing at Littleborough was recorded in the Domesday Book as Littleburg and belonged to the king at that time. The ford crossing is also thought to be the location of Tyowulfing Caster, where Bishop Paulinus baptised a big group of people in 628 AD. So what has this place got to do with the Mayflower Pilgrims? Sturton has a history of nonconformity, starting with John Lascelles, who was burnt at the stake in 1546 for his radical views, which Henry VIII did not agree with. Sturton is also important as the home of some important nonconformists, John Robinson and John Smith. John Robinson was an important leader of the Leiden group, from which the Mayflower Pilgrims originated. When they left on the Mayflower, John Robinson decided to remain in Leiden to look after those who were staying behind, and he died in 1625. Richard Clifton was deprived of his living and lost his job at Babworth, and then joined the Scrooby congregation, where Robinson became his assistant. William Brewster and William Bradford were part of that Scrooby congregation. In 1608, the Scrooby congregation left for Holland with Clifton as their leader. First they settled in Amsterdam, and then there were disputes about adult baptism, and part of the group left for Leiden. John Robinson left England for Amsterdam with the Scrooby congregation in 1608. About a year later there were internal disputes, and Robinson led a further group to Leiden, also in Holland. In the summer of 1620, part of the Leiden congregation left for England on the Speedwell and eventually sailed to America on the Mayflower. Robinson stayed behind to care for those who could not make the journey. John Robinson's early education is unknown. He may have studied lessons in Sturton le Steeple and perhaps gone to grammar school in Gainsborough. John Robinson attended Cambridge in 1596, where he came to accept the principles of the Reformed Protestant religion. John Robinson is also known as the founder of the Congregationalist Church, which are independent churches run by their congregations. John Smith was from Sturton le Steeple or Habblesthorpe. He went to Christ College, Cambridge in 1594. In that year he was also ordained as an Anglican priest and went to Lincoln to preach from 1600 to 1602. Smith was also probably the main instigator of separation. In 1606, Smith broke away from the Church of England and left for Holland, where he and a small congregation began to study the Bible ardently. Smith believed that true worship shouldn't come from a book, but should be spontaneous and ordered by the Spirit. In 1609, Smith began to believe in adult baptism, which separated him from other Protestant Reformed groups. By promoting adult baptism, Smith rejected infant baptism. There was no other minister to perform a baptism in Smith's church, so he baptised himself before going on to baptise his congregation. Therefore, he was called the Say Baptist. Smith introduced a simplified twofold church leadership with pastor and deacon. Smith formed the first recognised English Baptist church and is credited as the founder of the Baptist Church as a whole. Also from Sturton were sisters Bridget and Catherine White. Bridget married John Robinson and stayed with him in Leiden. Catherine married John Carver and travelled with him on the Mayflower. When they arrived in Plymouth, he became the first governor of the colony. Unfortunately, Carver died within the first year of arriving in Plymouth colony, and Catherine died a few weeks later of what was said to be a broken heart.